we forget about the most important thing that we should be doing every single day, and that's connective work. Connecting with people, building relationships, okay? So yes, you have active clients. You have essential things that have to happen to get those clients to the closing table. I get that, okay? If anyone gets that, I get that. Sometimes we have to step in and solve problems. A lot of times we have to step in and solve problems and make customer service calls and say, hey, here's where things are on your listing. I just want to give you an update. Here's the showings. Here's what feedback I've been able to get. But the problem is we spend all of our time letting essential work run our days. And the first thing that goes is connecting with people. Hi there and welcome to Real Life in Real Estate. I'm Mark Peebles, here to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. And so here we are. We are finally stepping in to spring selling season. Now you might be listening to this because I'm recording it at the end of February going, wait a minute, we're not in spring for another 3 or however many weeks. But here's the reality. I always feel like the market starts to take off when March hits. March hits and everybody goes, oh, let's buy a house. And so I always feel like spring selling season starts around this time of year. In fact, statistically speaking, the best time to sell a home historically has been when the NCAA basketball tournament starts, which is going to start here over these next couple of weeks. And so the market is about to take off. Are you ready to double down? Because during this time, it's going to be a lot of transactions coming with you. In fact, my wife used to say to me during this time of year, she'd be like, it's spring, Mark's going to work his tail off, and then we'll finally get to go on a vacation in the summer. But usually we didn't even travel during spring selling season because there was just too much going on. Let me tell you this, I set much better boundaries in my life now, and we have vacations planned for this spring. In fact, we're doing 2 vacations during the spring this year. Small vacations, but vacations nonetheless. But here's the thing, spring selling season is a real time. And it's a time when, more buyers come out of the woodwork, more sellers are listing their homes. There's more opportunity in the market. And what happens is this time of year, you get to the place where you are feeling overrun with transactions. And so my challenge to you is going to be, it's time to double down. Double down on the number of transactions you do, hopefully, but that's not where I want you to double down. I want you to double down this time of year on relationships. See, there's 2 ways that we can look at our business. We can look at it transactionally, like everyone that we work with is a number and I'm just trying to hit numbers. Or you can look at everyone that you work with and everyone that is in your sphere of influence as real people with real families, with real dreams, real home ownership goals that they want to hit. And you get to be a part of that process. You get to be a part of their lives. And so you can look at it from a transactional perspective. Yeah, I'm making that money. Those transactions are coming in. Or you can look at it from a relational perspective where it's, yeah, I'm going to dig deeper into my relationships. I'm going to love on people more. I'm going to show people more that I care about them because I genuinely do care about them. I'm going to be more a part of their lives. I'm going to just check in on someone and say, hey, I was thinking of you today. How are you guys doing? Right? Here's the thing. I've been doing a lot of study. I'm actually writing a class right now where I'm comparing Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. And in the class that I'm going to teach, I'm going to be teaching how to use the Chick-fil-A model, right? How to provide superior customer service, to really invest in customers' lives, and how that will drive your business. And so if you look at the difference between the two, just 2 big differences is McDonald's, very transactional. They're just trying to push people through. And in pushing people through, they don't provide the greatest service probably in the world. I mean, I've never gone to a McDonald's and been like, wow, I feel so much better for being here today. In fact, Interestingly, recently I went through a McDonald's drive-through and I had to place a special order. I was on, a very low carb carnivore diet at the time. And so with that being said, I go through the drive-through, I place my order. It took them a while to get my order out. They were pretty busy, and so it took them a while to get my order out. And turns out I drive off and they forgot my drink. They didn't hand me my drink because they told me to pull forward and to wait, okay, because they were having to do a special order for me, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. And that they were going to bring my food out to me. So they brought it out, but they never gave me my drink. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I didn't get my drink. So I pull back around, I park, I go in because I don't want to wait through the long drive-through line again. And then I go in and I'm standing there. No one will even acknowledge that I exist. They want me to go to the kiosk, but the kiosk isn't going to fix my problem. And I stood there for about 3 minutes without anyone even looking up or acknowledging my existence, and was like, okay, I'm going to get my own cup. So I walked up, I grabbed the cup, and I went over, filled it, and walked out. Now, everyone standing there was probably like, that guy just stole a cup. I didn't steal a cup, I promise. No, I was just getting the drink that I had paid for, right? Contrast that with Chick-fil-A, okay? So you've got this whole McDonald's throughput. Let's get people through, very transactional, and then no like back-end service that makes you feel good. Go to the Chick-fil-A model, and Chick-fil-A is all about the service. Oh, and by the way, they're also all about the throughput. Do you know that like when it comes to Chick-fil-A, when it comes to their drive-thrus, they actually have test drive-thrus. I think they're in Atlanta, where all they do is test new ways of taking orders and providing service that will actually move the customer through even faster and give them a better experience. And that's what they do. They test in time to find the fastest way to get people through, but also still provide that high level of service. And one of the things I love, you pull up to a Chick-fil-A, and you actually have a real human being there that has a smile on their face, makes eye contact with you, and says, "Hey, how are you doing today? What can I get for you?" Right? And they've got their iPad there, and they're like filling things out on there. Contrast that with McDonald's, where you go through the drive-thru to McDonald's, and they will say, are you using the app today? Like, that's it. That's all they care about. Are you using the app today? No. Hi, welcome to McDonald's, right? I don't feel anything from it. Whereas Chick-fil-A's gone to the place where there's a human touch in the drive-thru, right? And so it's this whole idea of doubling down on that relationship with the customer. Now, if we go back, I think I heard Dan Cathy. Dan Cathy's the chairman. He is Truett Cathy's son, and he is the chairman of Chick-fil-A. And I heard him talking in some of my research here. I've watched a ton of Dan Cathy stuff. I love that guy. He's full of a ton of wisdom. If you get a chance, go watch some of the stuff that he's put out there. And I've been watching for many years. But I think he said it was back in like the 80s or the 90s. They actually brought in consultants from Ritz-Carlton because they wanted to learn how to take what the Ritz does and apply that to the quick serve industry. And it wasn't about, doubling down on how fast they could move people through the line, even though they're focused on that. That's part of their focus. It was about doubling down on the relationship with the customer. And that's where you go to a Chick-fil-A today and you get your drink refilled and you say, "Thank you." And they say, "My pleasure, my pleasure." That came out of that whole doubling down on the customer relationship that happened sometime back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember exactly when it was. But here's the interesting thing. When you look at the two of those, you have one that is their main concern is the transaction, having you pre-order and do the app and then drive through and very transactional with the McDonald's experience. And then if they make a mistake, there's not even anyone there Who cares about, oh, let me make that right for you, I'm so sorry. There's none of that. Then you have this other company that doubled down on relationships, and what happens? They do more business in 6 days out of the week because they're closed on Sundays. They do more business during the week than McDonald's does in 7 days of the week. Not only do they do more business in those 6 days, but now they do more business. They are more profitable than McDonald's and Starbucks and Subway combined. They are more profitable than all three of those combined in 6 days out of the week. And I believe the reason is because Chick-fil-A gives you an experience. They make you feel good, and they double down on the client or the customer experience. Really, that customer experience is all about the relationship. For I think it's 11 years straight now, Chick-fil-A has been named the most loved restaurant in America by one of the big restaurant organizations. And so they truly are loved. There is a relationship that the American public has with Chick-fil-A. And it's all about that fact that years ago, they decided to double down on their customer relationships, and ultimately the experience that they have. So what does that mean for you? All right, we're going into spring selling season. Love this time of year. A lot of throughput happens this time of year. This quarter, well, really, we're still in the first quarter, but really the second quarter, as we come into those closings, that the transactions start in March and April. I mean, they're going to close during the second quarter. The second quarter of the year should be your biggest quarter of the year in terms of closings. So when I do my projections every year, I figure about 20% of my closings are going to happen in the first quarter, about 20% are going to happen in the second quarter, and then about 35, I'm not going to get the math straight. I should never have started doing, you know what they say? Do you know that they say that 85% of Americans now can't do basic math? 85%. I'm just so glad I'm in the other 25%. So if you're not giggling right now, come on. I know I don't have a studio audience to help you giggle, but that was funny. I don't care who you are. No, but seriously, so about 35% of my business, and then I'm starting to calculate in my head, am I going to get this straight? 35% of my business I figure is going to happen in the second quarter. That 35% of my closings for the year should happen in that second quarter. So it's going to be very busy. It's going to be a lot of transactions going. I'm saying this, double down on your relationships. How do we do that? Okay, so you have probably heard me talk about the 4 work modes. 4 modes of work that you need to operate in to stay focused and to know that you're doing the right things. And so the way that we do this, we lay out a core calendar and then we plug the 4 work modes into the core calendar. 4 work modes are, number 1, connective work. Performance work is number 2. The third one is deep work, all right? And then the last one is essential work. So I'm not going to go into all the work modes today, but the number one thing that happens when we get into this busy transactional season, it's like the restaurant rush hits us, okay? The lunch rush hits us. And we forget about the most important thing that we should be doing every single day, and that's connective work. Connecting with people, building relationships, okay? So yes, you have active clients. You have essential things that have to happen to get those clients to the closing table. I get that, okay? If anyone gets that, I get that. Sometimes we have to step in and solve problems. A lot of times we have to step in and solve problems and make customer service calls and say, hey, here's where things are on your listing. I just want to give you an update. Here's the showings. Here's what feedback I've been able to get, et cetera, okay? But the problem is we spend all of our time letting essential work run our days, and the first thing that goes is connecting with people. So how are we going to connect with people this spring? Okay, first off, every single day, Monday through Friday, okay, I don't expect you to do this on the weekends. You can absolutely continue building relationships on the weekends. But every single day, Monday through Friday, you should have at least 30 minutes, if not an hour, where all you're doing is connecting with people. So here's how we're going to connect with people. Number one, what we call them the high fives, the 5 things that you can do today to be connecting with people. Number one is scroll with a purpose, all right? So you're going to go in, you're going to check social media. Yeah, that's a distracting thing to do. That's why we can't do it in deep work time. It's distracting, so you can't get distracted, but you're going to scroll with a purpose. Your purpose is finding people to connect with on some life event that's going on. I always use the example of, the kid just got his blue belt in karate, right? And so that's something great to reach out to the family. Hey, I saw little Johnny just got his blue belt. Big congratulations. That is exciting. I've got a good friend that is really good at making these connections. Anytime I post a big life event, I can almost like clockwork expect he's going to send me a text just saying, hey, so glad that you got to take Tommy to the football game today. That is awesome, right? He always finds a way to connect with me. I was on the phone with him last week, and the thing is he's not just connecting once. He literally remembers these things, and he brings them up when he talks on the phone with me. And it shows like, hey, relationship, I care about you, and we are building relationship. I'm investing my thoughts into your life, into things that are important to you. So scroll with a purpose, right? Find 2 or 3 or 4 people that you can connect with today based on good things going on in their lives. Sometimes it might be a bad thing, loss of a parent, right? Or, maybe someone's sick in the family. It's a great opportunity to text someone and say, hey, I saw that Joe is sick. I just want you guys to know I'm praying for you, right? That's really meaningful, impactful way to connect. Now, listen, you got to be heartfelt about this stuff. You got to truly care about people. I say if you're in this business and you don't care about people, you just care about transactions, go find a different business because we're in the people business, right? All right, so scroll with a purpose. Then you're going to write at least 2 handwritten notes every day, all right? Just takes a couple of minutes to pump out a couple of meaningful handwritten notes. Now, what am I going to write in the note? What if I don't know what to write? Well, you can thank him for something, or you just saw that Johnny got his blue belt. Write a handwritten note and say, I just love watching your family grow on social media. I just saw that Johnny got his blue belt. Congratulations. Or better yet, send a card to Johnny and be like, big congratulations on your blue belt. You know how much that means to the family when you take that kind of time to recognize what's going on in their kids' lives? Use what you found on the scroll with a purpose to write your 2 handwritten notes, or write a thank you note to someone that has impacted your life or that you just saw, and just thinking of you note. Like if someone pops into your mind, maybe you say, I just thought of you today, and I hope everything is well in your family. If you ever need anything or need whatever, I'm here for you. Don't even put a business card in it. Now, if you're not putting a business card in it, write your first and last name in the return address so they know who it's coming from. I've gotten these handwritten notes where they just write an address up there, and I'm like, I have no idea who this person is because I don't recognize the handwriting, and they just signed their first name. And yeah, so anyway, make sure they know who it's coming from, right? But you don't have to even put a business card in there. All right, so then we're going to send 5 text messages every single day, at least 5 text messages. Now, these can also be calls, okay? You can also call people, but at least 5 every day, just checking in on you, text messages. These are not business text messages. It's just checking out people. Hey, I was thinking of you today. How's your family doing? Type thing, okay? That can be your scroll with a purpose. Just saw that Lisa had her first baby. Congratulations on being a grandpa, whatever, right? So we're going to send 5 text messages. Then we're going to do lead follow-up calls. If you have any active leads out there, people that you've been nurturing for a while, make those lead follow-up calls. Connect with people. Talk to people, okay? But definitely you want to lead follow-up. If you have an active buyer or a potential active buyer, okay, you might have someone that's like, yeah, we want to buy in 3 months. Listen, if they want to buy in 3 months, you better be calling them at least every week to 2 weeks. Why? Because once people get in the mental mindset that they're going to buy something, then they decide to move pretty fast. Okay, so just be connecting with those people at least every week to 2 weeks. But spend time in your connective work following up with those people. The last thing I like is personal proactive search, okay? So you have 10 potential buyers out there, or maybe just because you've built relationships with people over the years, you've learned what their dream home is. So you might send, that potential or past client, or really, there's no such thing as a past client. Once they're my client for life. So one of your lifetime clients, you might, send them a property and say, hey, I saw this today, and based on the conversation we had a couple of years ago, you said that your dream home would have X, Y, and Z. And as soon as I saw this, I thought I at least have to send it to you. Hope you guys are doing well. Or let me know if you'd like to see this, right? Believe it or not, a lot of opportunities come from that. And it means a lot to them. You actually listen to something that they said 2 years ago, and then you actually followed through and sent them something, even though it's 2 years later. It says, wow, he's been watching all this time for us. Yes. Right now, you might have someone too that they've been searching for 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes I will set myself up on the same portal that they're receiving emails from me from the MLS, and I receive that email, and then instantly I'll go pull it out of homes.com. That's my preferred, and we won't get into all the stuff going on with homes.com right now, but I'll pull it out of homes.com and I'll instantly text it to him and be like, hey, I just saw this one hit. Is this one that you would want to see? Right? So it's a personal proactive search where you are proactively looking for opportunities to get people into homes that might meet their criteria. This is another good one on your lead follow-up, okay? So you might have someone that says, I'm not looking for 3 months, but you know what they're looking for, and you see houses and you send them those houses, right? It's a great way just to stay in touch and stay in front of them, even if they're cleaning up credit or whatever. Hey, I saw this one today. It seems to fit everything we talked about. Let me know if you want to see it, and if not, we'll just keep looking, right? So let me review those 5 things. So connective work, we're doubling down on relationships, that Chick-fil-A model, providing great experiences that is all built on a relationship, all right? Scroll with a purpose, 2 handwritten notes, 5 text messages, lead follow-up, calls, texts, or DMs, and then personal proactive search. Those are your high 5s that you're going to sit down and do some of that every single day in your connective work time. I say block an hour a day to do it, right? However, if today everything blows up, try to find 30 minutes to do it. Because I'm telling you, this time of year, when the market goes crazy and your transactions go up, generally the first thing that goes is connective work, connecting with people, building relationships, because you're so focused on what's right in front of you that you're not focused on all of those around you that really are going to determine how third and fourth quarter shape up. So that's it. I'm telling you, stop being so transactional. All right? Love on people, care for people, double down on relationships. And with that, I believe you're still going to see a ton of throughput, but it won't just be throughput in the second quarter. It'll be a ton of throughput in the third quarter, a ton of throughput in the fourth quarter, and then you're going to have the best first quarter of 2027 of any first quarter you've ever had. Like, that's how this works. So I guess what I'm trying to say today is be Chick-fil-A, not McDonald's. I do like McDonald's, but no, be Chick-fil-A, not McDonald's. All right, guys. Hey, listen, if you want to really accelerate your business going into this spring, I encourage you, pick up 100 Days to 100K. This is the course that I put together where I actually implemented all of these things into my business last year. Now, these are things that I've done so much over the years, but I really formalized it, and I said, if I'm writing it, I'm going to do it. And last year we did it. I added $92,000 to my gross commissions last year between June when we implemented it to the end of the year. $92,000. I believe you can do that too. So 100 Days to 100K. You spend 100 days putting this into practice. It'll become habit to you. I believe you'll make an extra 100K this year. So second quarter, make this the time. Go to itsmarkpeebles.com, itsmarkpeebles.com. You can find the online course there. And I believe it will revolutionize your business. We talk about all the work modes that I just went through, the high fives. All of that is covered in this course. And then we give you all of the exact system, consistent systematic relationship building system that you can use to build real meaningful relationships with your sphere of influence and ultimately change your business this year. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much, so much for joining me today. Bless you. I hope you have a great week and an amazing spring selling season. Here we go.